Hello and welcome to A1 channel. In the 1950s, a drunk pilot stole two planes and landed both of them in the middle of Manhattan, all because of a bet. In 1956 at a small bar in New Jersey, Thomas Fitzpatrick, a former World War II and Korean War veteran, was pretty goddamn drunk and was loudly boasting about how fast he was and that he would be able to make a trip from New Jersey to New York in less than 15 minutes. Of course, no one believed him, and looking for something to bet on, told Thomas they would pay him good money if he did go from New Jersey to New York in less than 15 minutes. Of course, he didn't mention that he intended to use an aircraft as his mean of transport. The bet was on, as everyone in their right mind was convinced that Fitzpatrick was simply too drunk to comprehend the notion of time at that moment. Fitzpatrick, still very drunk, took off around 3 a.m. without any lights and keeping his radio silent. According to one of Fitzpatrick's contemporaries, his original plan was to land at the field of George Washington High School, but since the lights surrounding the field were not switched on that night, Fitzpatrick quickly decided on a far more dangerous option. He was going to land in the middle of New York City. Only a couple minutes after his takeoff, he landed directly on a Manhattan street, steering around light poles, buildings, cars and people, eventually stopping exactly at St. Nicholas Avenue, right where the bar was, without a single scratch from anything. This was certainly noticed by the police, who basically stood in awe before the unusual scene: an airplane parked in front of a bar in the middle of the street. Thomas Fitzpatrick was arrested and later fined $100, the equivalent to today's $800, but was soon released after the owner of the airplane decided not to press charges against him, as he saw the entire event amazing and almost comical. Everyone in the bar was certainly amazed, showering him with cash and shocking those who did not think it was possible for a drunk pilot to get to New Jersey from New York in only 15 minutes. 2 years later, in 1958, many people new to the bar were thinking that Thomas Fitzpatrick's stunt was all a hoax just to get money and fame. Thomas Fitzpatrick, instead of arguing with them whether he did it or not, simply got up and left the bar. 15 minutes later at 1 a.m., Fitzpatrick landed directly in front of a Yeshiva University building. The flight was once again conducted in the dead of night, just before 1 a.m. Once again, his landing was miraculous, especially for the fact that the street was extremely narrow and there were basically no lights. After the repeated incident, the city's authorities weren't so entertained. Judge Johnny Mullen sentenced Fitzpatrick to 6 months in jail. After pronouncing the sentence, Judge Mullen told the pilot, with a tone of a disappointed parent, "Had you been properly jolted then, it's possible this would not have occurred a second time." How did Fitzpatrick respond to Judge Mullen? "It's not me, it's the lousy drink." After his time in prison, he led a fulfilled life until 2009, when he died of cancer, aged 79. As a veteran of World War II, he had joined the army once more during the Korean War and earned a